Isn't marketing sometimes the most important thing that you could potentially do for anything, whether it be a band or a product or a movement? Well, in the music world, especially in the metal world recently, and it's something that has happened also in, well, other genres that we care not talk about, emo. There's something as a recurring theme that has been happening quite a bit, where right on the front of the CD, right on the little sticker that you sometimes will see, it will say "for fans of," and then list 2 or 3 different bands that really kind of describe the sound in about 5 words. Well, it's going to be a couple more in this particular case. On the new Born of Osiris CD, which is entitled The Discovery, that was just released this past Tuesday, the 2 bands, the 2 names that I saw really intrigued me. Intrigued me to the point where I definitely had to check it out. And those were the names Meshuggah and Between the Buried and Me. Now, Meshuggah and I, we've had kind of an on and off relationship. I do have a lot of respect for the band. However, I'm just not Meshuggah obsessed as a lot of other people are. Mainly because that obsession goes to Between the Buried and Me, because, let's face it, it's controlled chaos, it's chaos linked together through multiple parts, multiple facets. It's thinking man's progressive math metal, if you want to call it. I really just consider it progressive metal. It's great stuff. And whenever I see Between the Buried and Me on there, sometimes I'll listen to the samples and I will find that that is extremely malused. It's not used correctly. Born of Osiris is actually a different story with The Discovery. In fact, what I would consider The Discovery to be would be kind of a Between the Buried and Me album if a lot of the individual sections from their albums were all represented, as opposed to having them be long 8 to 16 sometimes minute long opuses, as we saw with albums such as The Great Misdirecting Colors. Why? Because this album, The Discovery by Born of Osiris, is 15 tracks long. The whole thing clocks in at about 52 minutes or so. And as I said, once again, there's no track on here that really goes any further than the 5-minute mark, so it almost seems as though this is what would happen if the individual ideas that Between the Buried and Me were able to accomplish on one track, all smashed together, were kind of chopped up individually, because you see that a lot on this particular release, but you also see a lot of exploration throughout each individual track on The Discovery. And that's actually kind of an interesting idea. It's almost like a micromanagement of each individual track, almost as though they're taking what the bands that describe them do and pack them in little smaller packages and love it. But it's nice. It's actually a very nice concept, and you're going to see a lot of different things on here. You're going to hear a lot of different things on here, should I say. You're going to hear very powerful progressive riffing. You're going to hear a lot of great riffing, and that's one thing that I really enjoyed about this record. You're going to hear multiple styles of vocal delivery. You're going to hear your harsh vocal delivery. You're going to hear some soft vocal delivery. And let me tell you, the clean voice on this particular album, he may sound a little bit more like that traditional, I don't know, more poppy sounding metal that a lot of us aren't exactly too enthused about. He may sound that way, but let me tell you, it suits the mood, for one. And for two, it's also done in an extremely tasteful fashion. Finally, number 3, the music that is behind it represents the whole in a better way than we're used to hearing in that poppy genre that we have grown to loathe. You're going to hear also some sampling in here. Sampling is something that has really become popular in this particular genre, and for the most part, sampling is something that is used kind of sparingly, used kind of in tasteful locations to kind of help a band along or something like that. This is one where it's really done very well. Think of the band Blackguard, and I really use them as a great example because they had to use some sampling whenever I saw them live, and the samples were just awesome. I mean, it really built an amazing battle-style mood. Think about that, only done on a scale with Between the Buried and Me, where they're able to, instead of channeling just one mood of victory or battle or whatever you want to call it, they're able to channel in either a dark wave or a darker sensation, or they're able to channel in a little bit more of a lighthearted or just a brutal sensation. It's something where they're able to use multiple facets of this particular craft to their advantage. And one particular example is in track number 7, The Solution, where you can hear just the softness in the background that is conveyed by this sample. There's another sample in track number 3 that's also kind of unique. And it's just something to aid the static in the background, so to speak. It's something to really build a dynamic atmosphere and really grow to draw you in a little bit further to what exactly is going on. This really has the feel of a 15-track concept album, a 15-track story, and it does flow that way as well. This is something where you're not going to necessarily go from track to track and experience a radical change without it feeling as though it's supposed to be there. And that is, once again, why I'm going with this Between the Buried and Me distinct comparison. Like I said, with Between the Buried and Me, they're able to do the albums in one straight shot where everything flows together, even though they're 5-6 tracks of just pure crazy, everything's going in one direction, then all of a sudden turns and goes to another direction. They're able to make it all mash together and work together. The pieces work together, baby, and they form a great puzzle, something that's really nice to look at, but in this case, really nice to hear. Born of Osiris is able to do that in 15 tracks, kind of micromanaging it down a little bit. Really like the discovery. Gotta give it a strong 8 to a light 9. Really enjoyed this release and did not think I was going to. Really didn't. That's me being honest with you guys. Did not think I was going to enjoy this as much as I did. Well, listen to it again. I liked it that much. I mean, this is like listen number 4 or 5. I've lost count. Good stuff. Coverkillernation saying, well, don't let the world get you down, and don't think something's going to suck before you listen to it.